Once, children's breakfast pastries were classified as weapons. Elsewhere, the very concept of a best friend became a punishable offense. This is not the plot of a dark satirical film. These are real rules in real schools. In the next 30 minutes, we will enter an alternative reality of education where common sense often loses and absurdity gets the highest grade. This policy views deep human connection as a contagious disease, encouraging a sterile, interchangeable circle of acquaintances. The goal is not friendship, but the ability to establish connections. The teacher's red pen is a classic symbol of correction. Red color is declared a psychological weapon. In Australia and the UK, the use of bright red ink for grading is prohibited. It is considered too aggressive and stressful for students. It is claimed that red is too aggressive and negatively affects students' psyche. Instead, soft colors like purple, blue, or green are suggested. Emotionally, it's like telling a student their essay is a pile of trash, but doing it with a calm lavender crayon to reduce negativity. F- grade feels just as harsh, but now it simply vibrates in more pleasant tones. This is an attempt to soften the harsh message. Third, in our world, hugs have been banned. In some schools in Florida and Oregon, hugs are considered a punishable offense. The administration cites concerns about inappropriate touching in personal space, turning hugs into a suspicious act. Instead of teaching children about consent and boundaries, they decided to ban warmth and friendliness, turning hallways into emotionless zones. Fourth, imagine your job is to hunt and destroy dinosaurs with a black marker. In one district of New York, that's exactly how it is. In some schools, the word dinosaur was banned in all educational materials because it implies evolution and an Earth age of more than a few thousand years. Halloween was also canceled due to its pagan roots, and dancing was banned for being too cheerful. Administrators manually crossed out dinosaurs from exams. This is not just the removal of a word, but a rewriting of science as fan fiction. Children remain unaware of what these giant, mysterious reptiles really were. To combat unauthorized bathroom trips, one Chicago middle school introduced mandatory synchronized bathroom breaks. The entire class goes to the bathroom 3 times a day together. Miss the window, you endure until the next trip 4 hours later. This is not education, but a logistical operation managing human physiology on an industrial scale. Such dystopian efficiency could move a factory manager to tears, while a child in the last row counts the seconds until lunch. 5-minute breaks, the sacred ritual of childhood, have been officially neutralized. Running on the playground was banned in an elementary school in Massachusetts. Any games involving touching each other were also banned, completely killing the joy of carefree childhood play. Of course, hopscotch is considered a relic of a more barbaric past. The official reason was concern for children's safety and potential lawsuits over scratches and bruises. Instead of hearing laughter on the playground, children move slowly, as if boarding a plane, afraid of hurting themselves. 7. Dodgeball is not considered a game. In several school districts from Texas to New Hampshire, it is a ritual of bullying, suppression, and aggression. The National Association for Sport and Physical Education has officially recognized dodgeball as an inappropriate activity, condemning it as a means of bullying weaker students. They treat the red rubber ball as a weapon of mass destruction. A game that once taught agility and reflexes is now seen as a threat. The only sport that taught generations quick reactions and satisfaction from an accurate throw is now perceived as the enemy of children. The Geneva Convention does not contain rules on this issue, but school administrators have already made their decisions and bans. 8. How to solve the problem of boys being distracted by girls. A high school in Pennsylvania found the answer: punish the girls. The school banned yoga pants and leggings, stating that their appearance distracts boys too much, disrupting the learning process. Teachers and students have to face problems that disrupt the entire educational process. Instead of addressing the core issue, boys are not taught respect and self-control. The administration decided it was easier to regulate female fashion rather than change boys' behavior. It's like blaming the road for cars driving too fast. Such a decision is a real move of logic that skillfully evades responsibility. Once a 7-year-old child's breakfast was recognized as a weapon. A boy from Maryland received a 2-day suspension for biting a Pop-Tart into the shape of a gun. In the world of zero-tolerance politics, even an L-shaped sweet became considered a serious threat. This is what happens when rules completely replace reason and common sense. They even banned that basic human instinct, raising your hand to show you know the answer. In an attempt to ensure equal participation, this action is now prohibited in some schools in the UK. The logic is that the same active students always answer, while shy ones remain in the shadows. Teachers use a random selection system, often using popsicle sticks with students' names. This system is affectionately called the Sticks of Terror. It turns the classroom into a game of Russian roulette with questions. It's a noble attempt to engage all students, but it punishes those who are prepared and enthusiastic. As a result, some children are afraid to answer. Have you ever wondered what school would be like without backpacks? Some administrators have wondered and concluded that it would cause chaos. In an attempt to eliminate obstacles and hidden prohibited items, schools banned carrying backpacks during the day. Students now have to carry everything in their hands. This policy treats the backpack like a Trojan horse, forcing students to perform an awkward juggling act all day long. All for safety, that backpacks never compromised. How to make sure students are exactly where they should be? Simple. Treat them like FedEx packages. A school district in Texas became known for requiring students to wear ID cards with GPS trackers to monitor their location. Every student on campus was tracked in real time. The administration presented it as a means to simplify attendance tracking and secure funding. But in reality, it was a high-tech leash. This is the highest form of hyper-surveillance the school remotely imposed using radio frequency identification. Big Brother doesn't just watch. He pinpoints your location at the drinking fountain. Welcome to the loneliest mealtime, mandatory silent lunch. Schools across the country have introduced periods when students must eat in complete silence. No words, no laughter, only the muffled symphony of chewing and the scraping of cutlery against plastic trays. This moment meant for socializing has been turned into a daily rehearsal of solitary confinement. This idea is so bleakly joyless that it seems as if it was invented by someone who truly hates the sound of children laughing. Planning a birthday party for your 8-year-old? First, you need to get approval from the school's legal department. You either invite all the children from the class or none at all. This approach eliminates choice and fosters tension among the kids. Distributing birthday invitations on school grounds is prohibited. This well-intentioned policy turns a simple celebration into a complicated and costly operation, comparable to a state dinner. The rule forces parents to either spend a lot of money renting a hall for 30 children or teach their child the art of secret party planning. Pure, genuine joy of a snowball fight has been officially banned in many American school districts, especially in snowy regions. This expensive and complicated rule was introduced due to the risk of injuries. A stray snowball can hit the eye. By the same zero-tolerance logic, playing tag on frozen water was banned. They eliminated the fun of a winter day, leaving children to simply admire the white snow from a safe distance. According to some school boards, bright hair color distracts from the entire learning process. Dress codes across the country explicitly prohibit unnatural hair colors: blue, pink, and other bright shades. Such rules restrict freedom of self-expression and create a tense atmosphere in educational institutions. Parents and children are forced to hide their individuality in order to comply with school norms. As a result, the school becomes a place of strict prohibitions, where fun and creativity are often banned. Such measures provoke criticism because they suppress natural childhood joys and freedom. It is important to remember that the school environment should support the development and happiness of every child, not limit them. This is the only way to raise confident, creative, and happy individuals ready for life. Schools ban bright colors, claiming that students' brain activity decreases from pink highlights. Classrooms must be in gray tones, even though the world is bright and colorful. In the list of demonized clothing, hoodies hold a special place. In one Connecticut school, they were banned not for untidiness, but due to security threats. The logic is simple. The hood hides the face from surveillance cameras. Teenagers seeking warmth and comfort are considered potential criminals. This is a theatrical security measure. This ban hardly increases safety, but makes everyone colder and more irritable. Students are deprived of their usual comfort for a showy measure. The most pointless, random thing that can be banned. An English school found the answer: somersaults. They were banned everywhere on the school grounds. The ban applies to corridors, the cafeteria, and all other places. There were no incidents or injuries, just a sudden, complete ban on gymnastic exercises. This rule is so strange and specific that it causes bewilderment. No one understands why such restrictions were introduced without explanation. The question arises whether this was written by a bitter adult who once failed in gymnastics and has since harbored resentment towards joyful acrobatic tricks. When does a trendy choice become a gang symbol? Obviously, when an administrator completely loses touch with reality. In California, skinny jeans were banned, not out of modesty. They believed that such pants could be a sign of gang affiliation. This shows a huge generational gap, like a separate postal code. A global fashion trend worn by rock stars and accountants was mistakenly perceived as a secret code of organized crime. It is less a rule and more a cultural fossil preserved in the instructions for students. Previously, being late to pick up a child from school caused guilt. Now it has become a source of income for schools. Schools in need of funds and tired of waiting began charging parents for every minute of lateness. Stuck in traffic? $5? Meeting running late? $10, please. they have successfully turned the anxiety of working parents into a source of profit. This policy turns the school entrance into, imagine a parking meter with a high cost, and your child is the vehicle. It's an inventive, albeit somewhat cruel, business model. What happens when grandma's love is declared a biological hazard? You get a modern school bake sale with strict restrictions. Many elementary schools have completely banned homemade baked goods. If you want to bring cupcakes for a child's birthday, they must be store-bought and sealed. The argument is the prevention of allergies, but in reality, freshly baked brownies are perceived as a suspicious item, while factory-made products are allowed without problems. Have you ever encountered a situation where your kindness is perceived as a threat to public health? This is the modern reality of school events. At a British school, they decided to wage war on words. They published an official list of banned slang, like, in it, basically, even sound inserts. The goal was to promote more eloquent and business-like communication among students. It is a noble but doomed to fail attempt. Trying to stop teenagers from using slang is like building a dam out of fishing nets. It is an administrator's dream to create an army of little eloquent citizens. In fact, it's just a group of kids who have become very, very good at talking without getting caught. Remember your first crush. Now imagine that your school administration acts as a government chaperone, watching your every move around the clock. In many schools, public displays of affection are strictly prohibited, and this rule is enforced rigorously. This applies not only to kissing by the lockers, holding hands, putting an arm around a shoulder, or even just exchanging brief, innocent hugs, is forbidden. Hall monitors turn into romance police. Their task is to suppress any unauthorized displays of human closeness to maintain a professional learning atmosphere. This leads to emotional coldness and a lack of warmth in schools where feelings are considered inappropriate. Imagine being told exactly how you must walk. In some schools, this is not a fantasy, but a reality. To maintain order and efficiency, military-style rules of conduct have been introduced in the corridors. Students must walk in a single file and stay on one side of the line drawn on the floor. Some schools even set a mandatory walking speed, turning breaks into a joyless, silent march. This is no longer a school corridor, but a strictly regulated route devoid of life and fun. It is a human conveyor belt designed to move units from one processing station to another. Modest doodles, a small drawing in the margins of a notebook, are considered enemies of education. Some teachers officially ban doodling, seeing it as proof of a student's inattention. But here is a beautiful irony. Numerous studies prove the opposite. For many people, doodling improves concentration and helps with memory. Nevertheless, for the sake of the appearance of perfect attention, schools have banned a scientifically proven learning tool. Uggs are soft, warm, comfortable boots that have become a serious safety threat at a Pennsylvania school. There, the popular footwear was banned for paranoid reasons. The school administration stated that in spacious UGG boots, students could carry prohibited items, especially mobile phones. Comfortable footwear became a means of espionage. Suddenly, every student in UGG boots was perceived as a potential spy, and the footwear as a hiding place for forbidden items. This is an example of a solution looking for a problem. At a middle school in Oregon, they decided to ban aerosol deodorants because students were triggering the fire alarm with them. At first glance, the ban seems reasonable. But remember how the gym smells after a physical education class full of kids, and the situation becomes more complicated. To avoid a minor problem with the fire alarm, the school created a much more serious and unpleasant odor in the premises. This is a classic case of the cure being worse than the disease. The question is, what would you prefer? A brief fire alarm anxiety or a constant, unbearable zone of unpleasant odors? Now let's move on to the schoolyard, which some schools try to completely neutralize by banning active games and running. One school in Toronto went the furthest and banned absolutely all balls: soccer, basketball, even rubber bouncy ones. The justification for the ban boils down to safety, assuming that any ball is a potential lawsuit and danger for the school. It seems like they carefully looked at the playground and deliberately removed the main source of fun and play: the balls. The most basic gestures you use every day might surprise you. For example, pointing was banned in a primary school in the United Kingdom because it was considered too aggressive and rude by the administrators. Instead of pointing, students had to find other ways to communicate, like vague waving or miming charades. The school turned a simple finger gesture into something forbidden, and everyone just had to accept it. Many English teachers, with good intentions, create lists of forbidden words for student essays. Common banned words include things, stuff, got, and especially the pronoun I, to encourage academic and descriptive language. However, when enforced strictly, this ban makes writing awkward and unnatural. Students become afraid to use these words, resulting in stiff and lifeless writing that sounds robotic instead of thoughtful and personal. For example, instead of writing "I think," students write, "It is the belief of this author," which sounds less like a human scholar and more like a robot trying to pass a test. Have you ever seen a condiment treated like a controlled substance? In some school cafeterias, districts have introduced a strict 1 pump per student rule for ketchup, limiting how much ketchup each student can have. That's it. Need more ketchup for your fries? Sorry, no. This isn't about nutrition or saving money. It's about power and control. This is an exercise in absolute power over the smallest thing. A policy that treats ketchup not as food, but as a carefully dosed state mood drug. The 32nd. Valentine's Day, an innocent holiday of friendship and candy, officially canceled in many schools. By strange logic, exchanging cards was banned. The ban was introduced to avoid hurt from unrequited love, just like the no best friends rule. Instead of teaching resilience, they decided to eliminate any cause for disappointment. They banned not only paper hearts, they banned the very idea of having a loved one. This is a complete rejection of childhood attachment and feelings. 33rd. In the world of zero-tolerance politics, school supplies can become weapons. A girl in South Carolina was suspended for a pencil sharpener. The teacher was sharpening a pencil, and the student was suspended for a too sharp tip, which was recognized as a stabbing weapon. I repeat, a pencil is now a weapon. An ordinary number 2 pencil now has the legal status of a dangerous item, highlighting the absurdity and excessiveness of school rules. Imagine a hidden dagger. God help you if you have a protractor. It sounds strange, but this is the beginning of the story about school bans and rules. You know that little thrill when a teacher gives you a sticker? In some schools, they have been banned. Students were trading stickers, creating a black market of shiny dinosaurs and holographic stars. The administration did not see it as a harmless lesson in trading. Instead, they started cracking down on this phenomenon as if the shiny unicorn was an illegal cryptocurrency. The educational process became strictly controlled. What happens when a school mascot becomes controversial? A corporate rebranding from hell begins. In West Virginia, the school changed its name from Indians to Dots. They stopped being a tribe of warriors and turned into a punctuation mark. Their main rivals are surely experiencing real horror. In Illinois, a school district banned color. Not hair or skin color, but the color of markers. Only a specific brand of classic colors was allowed. Neon, pastel, or glitter markers were not permitted. This decision was made to avoid envy and visual competition in the classroom. The rules seemed strict, but the administration believed it would help maintain harmony and order in the learning process among students. Such unusual bans show how far schools can go to control even the smallest details of school life, making every day a real challenge. Art education for children today resembles preparing to work with personnel documentation rather than developing a creative life. It's more chaos than inspiration. For generations, children sat on the floor in the cross-legged position, listening to stories. It is a natural posture for absorbing tales. Now, this posture is recognized as a medical hazard. Some schools have banned it, claiming it disrupts circulation and harms developing hips. Have you ever felt old? A posture that has existed since the dawn of time is now too extreme for modern children. We have already talked about holiday treats and invitations, but one school went further. They completely banned birthday celebrations. No songs, no congratulations, nothing. The reason is that children whose birthdays fall on weekends or summer holidays feel left out. In this utopia of enforced equality, personal joy has become a competition from which one can be disqualified. Simple woven friendship bracelets, a symbol of summer camp, are now considered gang symbols and banned in several schools. Administrators trying to appear strict in fighting crime decided that these bright threads are dangerous. You are just one step away from territorial conflicts and organized crime. Your 10-year-old daughter is not just friends with someone, she is in a gang. This example seems from another century, but it is not. There are still reports of schools with ultra-strict rules that punish left-handed students. Left-handedness is perceived as a bad habit that needs to be corrected. Sometimes children are forced to write with their right hand to conform to norms. This policy views a natural neurological trait as a character flaw and tries to reprogram the child's brain for conformity. This is not just a rule, but true medievalism in education that violates the rights and freedoms of the child. Everyone knows that the main rule of the library is to keep quiet. But one school district decided that silence was not enough. Rules of complete silence were introduced. No whispering, no sounds at all. To ask the librarian a question, you had to write it on a piece of paper. The library was turned from a place for communication and learning into a storage of books guarded by silent monks. Nothing says fun like mandatory participation. Many schools hold spirit days where participation is compulsory. If you don't wear mismatched socks, you can be punished or reprimanded, even though it should just be a fun event. On Funny Socks Day, you can be punished. It doesn't lift the mood, but only masks irritation with bright colors, passing it off as a celebration. Everyone knows about book bans, but the reasons can be absurd. When the Harry Potter series was banned, it wasn't about the quality of the text. The ban was explained by the idea that books supposedly open the gates to witchcraft and the occult. They feared not the stories, but that second graders would throw a Sabbath in the gym. In cold regions, there is a rule. You cannot wear outdoor jackets in classrooms. Officially, due to space and to prevent children from hiding things, unofficially, students freeze in the hallways between lessons, then enter the warm classroom where they are not allowed to warm up. Some schools prepare students for the modern world by banning the use of its language in communication and education. Abbreviations are not allowed in written work. No, not LOL, not BTW, not ASAP. This applies not only to formal essays, but to any communication. This is an attempt to preserve a form of English that is rapidly becoming a historical artifact. Children are being prepared for professions that have not existed since '95. Some schools have banned charity events, such as selling chocolate bars to combat childhood obesity. Instead of teaching moderation, just a ban. This ban kills the source of income that pays for the football team's uniform. The solution to the health problem is to deprive children of the opportunity to play sports. The logic here is not just circular, but a perfect, ribbon-like absurdity. This is an example of how wrong decisions lead to paradoxes and contradictions. You've heard of school uniforms, but have you heard of school hairstyle rules? In the UK and South Africa, there are strict guidelines on students' hair. Long hair on boys, complex braids, and dreadlocks are prohibited. Even the ponytail style is regulated. In Japan, one school banned girls from wearing ponytails. The reason was strange. Officials believed that the sight of a girl's nape could arouse boys. Thus, every girl becomes a random seductress. Although it makes no sense. Imagine your final exam is approaching. You are tense and studying. To create a more inclusive and calm atmosphere, clapping was replaced with quiet jazz hands. And finally, a rule so absurd, it seems like a work of art. The ban is not related to gangs or psychology. The color green was simply banned without good reason. One day, on St. Patrick's Day, the school principal decided that the tradition of pinching students without green clothing was a form of bullying. To stop the pinching, she didn't just ban pinching, but banned the color green, which caused it on a day known for green. Such a decision is incredibly illogical and original. It deserves to be displayed in a museum as an example of a strange problem-solving approach. And here's the real question. Are these rules the result of misguided care or just a desperate thirst for control? Share your opinion in the comments. If you believe common sense should return, subscribe and stay with us, because the most interesting is yet to come. We have seen 49 examples of madness in institutions, and there is only one last example left to consider. But before moving on to the final example, it's time to deliver the ultimate verdict on the entire list. In our opinion, the award for the most incredibly absurd ban should go to the Japanese school that banned ponytails. Why? Because most bad rules are born out of incompetence or fear, and this ban is a true work of art. This rule covered the entire spectrum of human anatomy and social interactions, making it unique and memorable. They decided that the biggest threat to education is the back of a girl's head. This is not just bad policy, but a true literary masterpiece of madness. Do you agree? Write in the comments which rule, in your opinion, deserves a gold medal for absurdity. And now our last example for consideration.